So I'm going to pick up where we left off before. In our last demonstration, what we have here is now we've got our medium images, which we made from our large images. You can see from the file sizes that they're dramatically smaller in most cases. And so what I'm going to do here is make my small thumbnails now. So I'm going to take my medium one and I'm going to open it in Photoshop and okay, and so we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to go straight to save for web. I'm going to go ahead and make a new action in my set, and I'll call it 200 by 200. And what I'm going to do is go up here to image size, and I'm going to choose the dimension that is the smallest. So in this case, it's going to be the height, and I'm going to choose 200 because then that way I can end up cropping off the rest. Oh, looks like I'm almost out of battery. I'm going to have to crop off the rest. So I'm just going to hit OK. And then now I can go over to my Marquee Tool. And what I can do is I could either do fixed ratio, but I think instead what I'm going to do is fixed size. And I'm going to make sure that it says 200 pixels by 200 pixels. That way, whenever I click, it automatically grabs the right number of pixels. And then I can go up here and I can say image crop. Every once in a while, if you try to do this with the crop tool, it won't come out exactly the right number of pixels. You might be like 1 pixel off or something. So anyway, I'm going to stick with that, and then I'm going to go to Save for Web. And you can choose whatever, quality you want. Because these are so small, you could actually, choose a much higher quality if you think that it's going to make a much bigger difference. So in this case, let's say 80%. And it does seem like it looks a little bit better than maybe the 30% one. It is a lot bigger though, so maybe it doesn't need to be 80. Maybe it could be something like 60%. And I can't really tell the difference, but the size is a lot different. So we're going to go ahead and save, and we're going to save it in the repository like that. And then again, we're going to close the original colored bricks and do not save it, because remember, this is the medium one that we have open, and so you don't want to save over the medium one. And then we can stop our action. And now we've got all of these things in our actions, and I can go over here now and do a batch. And we're going to choose the source, and I could choose large. I'm going to just choose medium, because if you think about it, you're opening and closing smaller sized files, so it's going to happen faster. So the source will be our medium ones that we already did, and destination is none. And there it goes. And now if we want to go check our repository of images, and we can look at each one and sort of scroll through them. And then look what happened here. We had a vertical one. That one we're probably going to have to go in and do manually. So let's just look at this real quick. We're going to move these into the small folder, and let's just take a quick gander at this one. Let's go into small, and we'll see that the dimensions here for stained glass are 150 by 200, and that's not what we want. We want these things to be uniform, okay, not unique. So this one I think I'm going to do manually, so I'm just going to get rid of this. We'll say move to trash. And then I'm going to open up the medium one. And I don't really care that this one, the medium-sized one is vertical. That doesn't really bother me so much. But I am going to recreate the thumbnail so that it does fit within the right dimensions. So for this one, I'll do image size. And in this case, I'm going to make the width 200. Because it is the smaller dimension. Okay, and then what I've got, let's just blow it up. And then I've got my fixed marquee size, and you just have to decide on what part you want to take it from. So I'm going to take it from there. I'll do my image crop. Okay, and then I can do my file save for web. And then I can save it into the repository. And if I wanted to change it, I could. I'm not going to, just that way it'll remember it in the future. Close this, don't save it. And then you'll see that I've got my repository image for stained glass right there, which is exactly what I want it to do. So let's look at this in a list view. It's a little bit easier. Okay, so I can move my stained glass one now down to the small one. And so now I've got large, medium, and small, and they all have exactly the same names, and I did that relatively quickly. Okay, so that's the way that you can batch stuff, and you would do that for any of your galleries so that you have identical files for each of these sizes. And when I say identical files, I mean identical file names, not actually identical files. Okay, and so I'll let you do the rest on your own, and you can pick your own images and just go for it. Go ahead and do this and have them in place though before you continue forward with the scripting part. And that way you'll have something to work with.